Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Getting to Know Your Son or Owners. We are with Steve and Jean Hansen in Mesa, Arizona. They are lovely people. If you guys haven't been there, you need to go. They are both so beautiful souls, or such beautiful souls, and always wanting to serve. Jean and Steve have been such an asset to the Harmonic Egg family, so I wanted to introduce you guys to them. So welcome, Jean and Steve.
Hi, good to see you.
Hi, thank you, Gail, for doing this with us.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves and how did the egg find you? I know Jean is now an author, which I love saying that. She's an author now, and her book is amazing, amazing, amazing. And so you don't have to share too much information, but tell us a little bit about who you are and how did the egg find you?
Well, I'll try and do the condensed version. Steve and I, we've been married since 1987, and we've been in business together for all those years. But we were in a completely different industry than what we're doing right now. And a few years ago, I just started on this spiritual journey. And in 2019, I had what people refer to as a spiritual awakening. And I opened up some psychic gifts, which led me to becoming a higher guidance life coach and a body code practitioner, which is an energy healing modality, all the while running our other business. And during this time, Steve had his own awakening and he was drawn to sound healing. And so he started buying Tibetan bowls and doing certifications in sound healing, and he's buying all these other instruments. So, we're talking about this, and this is like 2019 to 2020 that we're doing all this. And we're like, so what are we going to do with all of this? We still had our business and we were making a good living at it. And so I'm thinking, can we really make a good living at doing these things like we are now? And so I just decided, well, let's do it on a part-time basis and see where it takes us. Well, that's when we discovered the Harmonic Egg. And so I was listening to your interview on Gaia, which a lot of the center owners, that's how they found you. But I immediately ran to Steve. I'm like, you got to listen to this. And so we listened together and we just kept looking at each other during the interview. We're like, are we supposed to do this? And I got a great big yes. And so that was like May of 2020. And we honestly had to think about this. We took several months, and I was eyeing up the Phoenix area right from the start because we said, if we're going to do this, we need to do it where we want to be. And we were in Minnesota at the time. We, lived in the northern states for, our whole life, but we'd always wanted to be in a warmer climate. And so we just said, let's do it in Mesa, let's do it in the Phoenix area because that was open. And so, so by the February of 2021, that's when we started making a move. We put our business up for sale, had an offer right away, contacted you, and, luckily you said we were a good fit.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that you would even think that. You guys are so cool. You're so amazing. And yeah, it was just so lovely to meet you. I'm glad I got to meet you. I know I don't get to meet everybody anymore, but I'm so glad. And you guys have just been such an asset to contributing to the community that we have. And and Steve, you can go ahead. I mean, your musical talents are so fun, and you're doing sound baths now and stuff like that at the center.
Yeah, and that all started because of that. Jean went to a spiritual retreat with a bunch of women. At first, they said no husbands. Then at the last minute, they said, okay, husbands can come. Well, guess what? I was the only husband that showed up. So I'm in a house with 15 women learning about all these different modalities, and learning that, hey, wait a minute, there's something to this. We went on a Saturday, we jumped in the van, took the road to Hana, stopped and looked at some waterfalls. Our guide got out and he was walking to the waterfall. He reaches in the backpack and pulls out a Native American flute and starts playing it. And I just love the sound of that. That's what started my journey in sound healing. First thing I did when I got home was I bought a Native American flute, started teaching myself how to play it. From there, like Jean says, Tibetan bowls, crystal bowls, Monoleyas and, shakers, this, that, and the other. but I use all those different types of instruments in my sound baths. So, just love it.
Well, you were so gracious to let me play with some of those instruments, and then I came home and bought some myself. I also got interested in the flute. I love the wooden flute sound. It's just so soothing and so beautiful. And obviously that's been used by people in different traditions for thousands of years. So
Thousands of years.
crazy,
Yes.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt that sound therapy and light therapy work. So it's just crazy. So you guys, I
Yes.
know you have some stories. Did you want to say something else, Steve?
Yeah, I just want to say that, the three instruments that have been around for thousands of years, drums, flute, and the didgeridoo. And I understand that you were trying to learn, so am I. And it's a tough instrument.
So hard. So hard. I feel like all I'm doing is spitting inside there.
Jean says it sounds like it's
A sick cow.
A sick cow.
I love it. It is very hard. That circular breathing is very hard.
Yeah.
I my hats off to anybody that can play the didge.
Oh, you and I we'll eventually get it.
Exactly. One day I would like to try the violin.
Oh, I've got one of those too. Yeah.
You got it all, Steve. You got it all. All right. So I know you guys told me you have some stories to share.
We do. The very first day we opened, we had a woman come in and she has Asperger's. And so her social anxiety was extremely high. She was very timid when she came in. She doesn't look you straight in the eye very much, so she's always kind of darting around, which actually caused a lot of pain in her neck. And so her goal was really to help ease the pain in her neck and then to ease her social anxiety. And the pain in her neck went from a 7 to a 2 in just one session. But the more impressive results that she got was with her Asperger's, because she was coming in for the first 3 months. She came in every single week, and then she stepped it back to a couple times a month and so forth. But in just a few sessions, you could tell she came in and she had this big smile on her face and she was looking us in the eye most of the time. And she said that her social anxiety in a grocery store went from about a 70% to 30%. She's like, I even talked to someone in line. And her real goal was to be able to get through an entire dinner out with her family, because she'd never been able to sit through an entire dinner, and she was doing that. So that was so, thrilling for us to see.
You guys are just so lovely, and that's the thing. All the center owners seem to be, these are the stories that get them up in the morning and get them moving, because it is so rewarding to give somebody a quality of life. It's so priceless. I love it.
Yeah, I had one. Well, we had. I think most of the center owners will have this, where men are kind of reluctant to come in and do a session, but their wives will ask them, we come with me, and they do. And we actually had two men like this that were, we don't know about that foo-foo stuff and blah, blah, blah. One guy was he was a superintendent on a construction crew, big construction guy. And he didn't fill out his intake form online, but his wife did. So I guess it was meant to be that way, because I got her in the egg, then I had time to talk with him. My background is construction. So I could talk his talk and walk his walk. And it was great. So just from our conversation, I got him in the egg and stuff. I thought, oh, wait a minute, he's a real big softie. And his wife gets done with her session, and I get her out, and she comes to the front lobby, and I says, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised on your husband's reaction. And that's all I said. And so about 10 minutes later, I went and got him out. And as soon as I opened up the door to the egg, he just said, wow, I did not expect this. So great. So he gets out, and I give him his electrolytes, and I go up front and just tell him when he's ready, come on up front. And he gets up front, and he gets about to our reception desk, and his wife was sitting in one of our chairs. He just stops and says, we have to do this again. And we actually had another gentleman, kind of the same way. He was really skeptical about everything, and he had a great session. just come out with a big smile on his face. You just thought, wow, I can't believe this. And then they were talking about, since he had the experience he had, that some of his other relatives would probably help, get help from the egg. Yeah.
That's so cool. I've had the same experiences with this, big motorcycle guys, burly guys, construction guys, oil field guys, military guys. And I never really know how to respond to them. The one that I had, I think it was a Marine, he came with his wife from Texas. And when he came out of the egg, he said, I always speak to God, but in there, God spoke back to me. And he started crying. And I was like, do I hug him? What do I do? This huge guy's crying and I want to hug him, but I don't know if that's, it's just so funny to see. And it's not funny, but our society is amazing. So hard on men and how they can express their emotions or not. And so it's really beautiful. I've had so many men cry after the session, and it's to me such a beautiful expression. Yeah, I love that. I'm glad you could relate to some of these guys, because I'm sure it's more comfortable for them.
Yeah, because I was, when Jean first started this, obviously I supported her, but I thought, oh, some woo stuff, But, my eyes got open because I got educated, with 15 women. So.
Well, I did have one more story, Gail. I am currently working with a 15-year-old who has asthma. And as you know, I also do the body code, which is an energy healing modality. And she actually wanted to do that. Honestly, I just was really surprised. She's like, I'm really not interested in the egg right now. I want to do this. So we did 3 body code sessions focusing on the asthma. And the body code's just like the egg. It's about getting to the root cause of what's causing your illness or discomfort or pain. And she started seeing results. I mean, she's not only asthmatic, but she's allergic to animals. So she could never go over to her friends' houses because they all had pets. And her family loves rodeos. And of course, she could never make it through an entire rodeo. And she's like, well, I have to go with my inhaler, with my box of Kleenex, with my Benadryl. And, so she started feeling better just by doing the body code for a couple sessions. And then we started doing her egg sessions. And since doing the egg sessions, she's feeling even better. She wanted to drop. She is on one medication from her doctor, which is a steroid. And she's like, I'm ready to drop it. And her mom and I are like, no. Got to step down a steroid. You got to, you can't just drop it. And so with her mom's supervision, she very slowly started like reducing one day, because it was a everyday thing. And so now she's been, coming here for a few months, and she's down to 1 day a week with her steroid. She can get through an entire rodeo without having to use her inhaler or take a Benadryl. She just last week said, our neighbor got a new puppy and I spent all day with the puppy. I mean, what do you say to that? It's just amazing.
That is so beautiful that she can now have that interaction with animals and stuff. Yeah. I had asthma as a kid and my brother was so mad at me because we got guinea pigs, and I grabbed the guinea pig and hugged it. My neck swelled up and got big welts on it. We took it right back to the pet store. And of course, my brother's like, I hate you. You made us get rid of our animals. So I struggled with it. I was allergic to horses. I have a horse. I was allergic to hay. I'm around hay 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day now. So I am so grateful for sounding light therapy, because it is what got me over the allergies and asthma. And as you know, Jean, a lot of this is just emotional.
Yeah, for sure. And her mom had asthma too. And I'm actually, they come in together. Her and her mom come in together. I'm working on something completely different with the mom, and she's making progress as well.
I just love it. I love it.
I've got a story like to share, Gail. This year it was just mind blowing. We actually had a gentleman come in probably about 3 months ago, I think it was. He actually called on the phone when he was still in the hospital. He had a stroke. A 42-year-old gentleman had a stroke, affected the left side of his brain, which affected his right arm and his right hand. But he called to set up an appointment, and Jean took the call. And, at that time, obviously, it's really hard to understand because his speech was still slurring, blah, blah, blah. But we got him set up and he come in for his session. And, we selected the music and, went through the whole protocol and everything and did that and got him in there and did his session. I opened up the door to the egg and he just looked at me with a big smile on his face and said, Steve, I got to process this. I don't know what happened, but I know it was good. I just need time to process this. So I said, well, just sit there for a bit, And so he eventually got out of the egg and then came up front. And so we actually, I think it was a week or so later, we scheduled another appointment. Because we always follow up. About 3 days later, we always follow up with clients. And he said, well, Steve, everything is great. This is after his first session. Everything's great. He says, yeah, with my squeeze test, originally I could only do 2 pounds of pressure. He says, now I'm doing 20 pounds of pressure after the egg session. He says, I told my physical therapist what I was doing, about this egg, but I haven't told my doctor. And so, because the physical therapist was just dumbfounded on how could this, so much good results like this happen so quickly. So he came in for his second session. And at that time, his speech was much better. His balance and everything was much better. In fact, his sister even said that he was looking better and he was standing straight and not wobbling and blah, 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 which is good. So when he came in for his second session, I noticed that his right hand, his palm area was still swelled up. And so Gene and I discussed this and we thought, okay, well, because I do quantum touch. And we said, okay, well, I'm going to probably do like a 10-minute session on his hand to help reduce that swelling and then put him in the egg. Well, we did that, got him in the egg, did his session. I opened up the door. How's everything going? He thrilled again. And I was looking at his right hand and says, I can't tell right now, but once we get out front, let's look at your hand again. It doesn't look like there's any swelling there. And so actually that's what had happened. Got him out front where we actually have some light. And the swelling in his hand was gone. He just felt fabulous. Again, he says, this is just fantastic. Whatever's happening is great. Followed up with him 3 days later. He got busy or something happened, so he couldn't take my call. So about a week later, I called him and he said, Steve, things are fantastic. I'm back to work. So, wow, that's great. He says, yeah, because that was my whole goal, was to get back to work because I only had a couple of weeks vacation time accumulated. So, and my physical therapist and my doctors were saying that it would be 8 weeks, to 12 weeks before I actually get back to work. Well, the Harmonic Egg did it in 3 weeks.
Well, and also you guys are, your beautiful gift of quantum touch and, and Gene's intuition. Yeah. And I think that is like, I don't even have any words for that. I mean, what a beautiful gift. We have another center owner whose wife is a medical doctor and she had a stroke, and she's also been super impressed with how quickly she recovered from the stroke. I mean, I'm an engineer, you guys know that, and I cannot believe it. Half the time I'm like, wait, what happened? I remember I had a cowboy belt on, the big belt, and it had all these frills and stuff on, and I cut my finger. And I had somebody in the lobby, I can't remember, I had somebody working for me at the time, and I went to do my egg session and I cut my finger. After I came out of the egg, I couldn't find the cut. I mean, it was literally a slice on my finger. And so I said to him, you remember I went in there and I cut my finger on my belt? And he goes, yeah. And I showed him my finger. He goes, no, show me the other finger. He thought I was lying to him. And I showed him both of the fingers and he's like, what? Wait, I mean, who says we have to take 6 weeks to heal or 8 weeks to heal or 6 months to heal? Why can't healing be immediate?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yes, absolutely. That's the only word I can think of.
Yeah. And it's too bad that so many others haven't heard about this, other stroke victims and people that could really use it, to help take care of their conditions and improve their lives. But
well, Yeah,
Word's
Gail,
getting out.
yeah, Gail, we appreciate all that you do to get the word out about it.
Well, I feel like it's not really about me. This was something that was downloaded to me and it has to get out there, and it's not at all about me. And there's such a bigger picture for it. And I don't even know how it's taken off as much as it has already. It's so crazy. Well, tell everybody how to find you guys.
Yeah, so our website is realignyourlifeaz.com. So you can book your sessions online. Our phone number is 480-306-7321. And we are in Mesa, Arizona. So if you're in the Mesa, Phoenix area, anywhere in the Phoenix metro area, we are at 931 East Southern Avenue in Mesa.
And also, if you're not in the Mesa area, they can do remote sessions as well. So if you want to speak to that, just, because Jean, you can use your gifts to help with a remote session as well.
Yeah, we've done a few remote sessions. We've got some people up in Prescott that use it, which is, they're a couple hours away, and people that come in. So, and, we can do it with anyone, really.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to share?
Oh, just thank you, and thanks everybody in the community. We learn so much from others.
We're just feeling really blessed to be able to do this, and that the timing was just perfect for us and for the egg, and that here we are living our dream.
Yeah, just grateful.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, I will talk to you soon then. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks, Gail.
Bye-bye.